They were once the golden couple of Hollywood. Every tabloid, magazine cover, and late-night host couldn't get enough of them. Daniel West and Lily Hart, two meteoric stars who lit up red carpets and hearts across the globe. Their love story felt like a dream. But as the cameras flashed and the headlines praised their perfection, a storm was brewing behind the scenes. And eventually, that storm would explode into a courtroom drama that exposed the painful truth. When fame fails, love can turn into a legal war. Welcome to the Verdict Diaries. In today's episode, we're diving into one of the most publicized and emotionally intense celebrity divorce cases in recent memory. If you're passionate about real-life drama, courtroom revelations, and stories that shake the foundation of public perception, you're in the right place. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for daily videos that uncover the real truth behind the verdict. Daniel and Lily met on the set of an indie film, both rising stars with their own fan bases. Their chemistry was undeniable, both on and off camera. Rumors of their relationship sparked instantly, and within a year, they were married in a lavish, media-saturated ceremony in Lake Como. To the outside world, their lives seemed flawless. Luxury homes, joint ventures, shared appearances, and a romance that felt like it had been written by a screenwriter. But as insiders would later reveal, cracks had been forming almost from the beginning. Daniel, known for his intense roles and perfectionist nature, reportedly struggled with control issues. Lily, beloved for her open-hearted roles and sunny personality, began to feel stifled. What started as minor disagreements soon turned into heated arguments. Friends described emotional outbursts at parties, cancelled plans, and increasingly cold red carpet moments. Still, they worked hard to maintain their image. The couple launched a wellness brand together, collaborated on a documentary, and even adopted a rescue dog, all part of what seemed like a happy, thriving union. But then, an anonymous tip sent to a gossip blog changed everything. Allegations of infidelity surfaced. Lily was spotted having dinner with a music producer she had worked with, while Daniel was reportedly seen late at night with a former co-star. Both camps denied everything, calling it fake news, but the media had its story, and the feeding frenzy began. Behind the scenes, things were deteriorating quickly. Daniel moved out of their Beverly Hills home. Lily hired a high-profile divorce attorney. What was once a love story quickly became a media war, and eventually, a courtroom showdown. The case wasn't just about the dissolution of a marriage. It became about defamation, emotional abuse, breach of contract, and even intellectual property tied to their joint ventures. Lily claimed Daniel had attempted to destroy her public image by leaking private emails. Daniel accused Lily of financial dishonesty and manipulating their joint business to shift profits unfairly. Court documents were released. Private messages were read aloud in hearings. And most devastating of all, both Daniel and Lily were ordered to appear for depositions and, later, for a full trial that was open to the public. The media coverage was relentless. Fans began choosing sides. Some supported Daniel, calling him a victim of betrayal. Others rallied behind Lily, portraying her as a woman finding her independence after years of emotional control. Then came the moment that flipped the entire narrative. A secret recording, leaked from a previous. The trial resumed with heightened media presence, drawing even more public attention to the unfolding drama between Daniel West and Lily Hart. As journalists filled the courtroom gallery and social media buzzed with speculation, both legal teams prepared their strategies for the emotional testimonies ahead. Lily returned to the stand, this time facing cross-examination. Daniel's attorney wasted no time in questioning her credibility, highlighting moments of inconsistency in her past interviews and public statements. "Miss Hart," the attorney began, "isn't it true that you once described your marriage as a partnership built on respect and unconditional love, just months before you filed for divorce?" Lily hesitated, then answered softly, "At the time, I believed that. Or at least, I wanted to." Her voice cracked, but she composed herself. She explained how public pressure forced her to maintain a perfect image. "We weren't just a couple, we were a brand. Admitting things were falling apart would have meant losing everything we built." Daniel sat silently, his expression unreadable. His attorney pressed on, bringing up a series of emails and text messages that appeared to show Lily making strategic decisions about their joint business. "Did you or did you not propose a restructuring that funneled profits to a separate account in your name?" Lily countered that the proposal was to protect her share after Daniel allegedly tried to sell assets without her knowledge. It became clear that trust had eroded long before the court filings. Next, the defense called Daniel's longtime personal assistant, who provided insight into the couple's home life. "They had moments of joy, sure," she said, "but I witnessed some deeply painful fights." She described Daniel as passionate but increasingly distant, and Lily as someone who often walked on eggshells. The assistant's testimony was both damning and sympathetic, painting a picture of two people overwhelmed by their own success and expectations. As the day ended, Daniel's legal team made a bold move. They requested the court to allow testimony from a therapist who had treated both parties. Though initially hesitant, due to confidentiality concerns, the therapist had been subpoenaed and was prepared to speak in general terms. The next day, the therapist took the stand. He described the couple as emotionally enmeshed, noting that their identities were so tied to each other and their fame that personal boundaries were often blurred. "There was love, yes," he said, "but also deep resentment, miscommunication, and fear of abandonment." His testimony added a layer of psychological depth to the case, turning the narrative from simple infidelity and fame to emotional trauma and identity crises. The audience watching live updates online began to discuss their own experiences, and mental health advocates praised the trial for bringing such topics to light. Then came Daniel's moment to testify. All eyes were on him as he walked to the stand. His demeanor was calm, his tone measured. He admitted to flaws. "I wasn't perfect. I pushed too hard, tried to control too much. I thought if I kept everything in order, we'd be okay." When asked about the leaked audio, Daniel said, "That clip, it doesn't tell the whole story. It was a terrible moment, but there were hundreds of others where we were just trying to make it work." He spoke about his childhood, growing up with parents who divorced bitterly, and how that trauma shaped his need for control. It was the first time the public saw him as more than a cold, calculating figure. Lily, watching from her seat, wiped away a tear. Outside the courtroom, fans on both sides posted their support. The media dubbed it the trial of the year, with pundits debating the implications for celebrity culture, gender dynamics, and how society views public relationships. In a surprise move, Lily's attorney introduced a private journal entry Daniel had written, one that had been legally obtained through discovery. In it, Daniel wrote, "I love her, but I fear she doesn't know who I am anymore, and maybe I don't either." The courtroom was silent as the entry was read aloud. For a moment, the legal battle faded, replaced by the raw emotion of a man lost in his own fame. Meanwhile, their joint business venture had collapsed under the pressure of the trial. Endorsements were pulled, stockholders bailed, and former partners distanced themselves. A once flourishing empire had crumbled. Both sides have laid bare their truths. What started as a battle of accusations has become a deeply human story of love lost, identity shattered, and the impossible expectations of life under the spotlight. The third chapter of the Courtroom saga opened with the unexpected testimony of a key figure, Chloe Sanders, Daniel's former co-star, and the woman rumored to be the third party in his and Lily's unraveling marriage. Her name had surfaced in gossip columns long before the trial, but until now, she had refused to comment. Wearing a simple blazer, Chloe stepped into the courtroom and sat with a straight back, eyes forward. She addressed the court calmly. "I am here to clarify the truth. I was not the reason Daniel and Lily's marriage ended. I was a symptom of something that had already broken." She recounted how her working relationship with Daniel developed into a friendship, and how, during the last months of filming, he had confided in her about the deteriorating state of his marriage. "We were never romantically involved while he was still with Lily," she said firmly. The courtroom murmured at her words, but her poise silenced further whispers. Chloe continued, describing Daniel as lonely, overwhelmed, and unsure how to fix what he and Lily had lost. Under cross-examination, Lily's attorney questioned her motives. "Why come forward now?" Chloe replied, "Because I'm tired of being portrayed as a homewrecker. I didn't break their marriage. I just happened to be there when it was already falling apart." Next, the court turned to forensic accounting, a dry yet crucial part of the proceedings. A financial expert laid out years of transactions, revealing that despite their combined fortune, there were mismanaged investments and questionable transfers. Millions had vanished through shell companies and offshore accounts. One of the largest discrepancies was tied to an LLC set up in Daniel's name. It was supposed to be a charitable foundation, but had instead funded luxury purchases and a private villa abroad. When asked about it, Daniel looked shocked. "That account was handled by my manager," he insisted. "I didn't approve any of those expenditures." The manager was immediately called in and placed under oath. He claimed Daniel had full knowledge of the account's usage, presenting signed documents. The betrayal stung visibly. For a moment, the courtroom drama shifted from Daniel versus Lily to Daniel versus his inner circle. As the financial revelations piled up, Lily's attorney revealed a bombshell, a prenup clause that had been overlooked. Hidden within legal jargon was a stipulation that if either party was proven to have mismanaged joint funds, they would forfeit their share of residuals from their business empire. Suddenly, everything was on the line. Daniel's legal team scrambled, requesting a recess to evaluate the clause. When they returned, Daniel's expression was grim. The court moved into recess for the weekend, giving both sides time to regroup. Over the weekend, tabloids ran wild. The final day of the trial arrived, and the courtroom was packed. Cameras swiveled to catch every movement. The nation had followed the ups and downs of Daniel and Lily's court battle for weeks, and now everyone was bracing for the verdict. Before the ruling, closing statements were delivered. Lily's lawyer began, emphasizing the emotional and financial toll the marriage had taken on her. "This case is not about punishing success. It's about holding accountability." Lily stood by her husband through the rise, only to be left behind when the spotlight became too bright. He pointed to the evidence: the mismanaged accounts, the betrayal of trust, and the emotional neglect. All she asked for was respect and partnership. What she received was isolation and manipulation. Daniel's attorney countered, "Yes, mistakes were made, but we must judge fairly. Daniel contributed equally to their empire. His flaws don't erase the love, the hard work, or the intent behind his actions. He, too, is human. The judge allowed both Daniel and Lily one final statement before the decision. Lily spoke first. This trial wasn't about revenge. It was about truth. I lost myself in this marriage. Now, I just want peace and clarity for the future. Daniel followed, voice steady but clearly emotional. I loved her. I still do, in some way. I only hope we both find happiness outside of this courtroom. Then came the moment. The courtroom fell silent as the judge delivered the verdict. The prenup clause was upheld. Daniel was found to have breached the financial agreement by mismanaging shared funds. Lily was awarded a larger share of their remaining assets, including rights to the company they had built together. The judgment also granted Lily full creative control over their brand's future, with Daniel entitled to limited royalties. But there was more. The judge issued a powerful closing statement. This case serves as a cautionary tale, not just for celebrity couples, but for all who build relationships on public image rather than personal truth. Success should never come at the cost of your partner's voice. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed. Lily emerged, flanked by her legal team. She gave a short, heartfelt statement. I fought for my dignity, and today I feel heard. Daniel left separately. He did not speak to the media, but released a short video later that evening. In it, he said, "This chapter is over. I've learned painful lessons. I hope to rebuild not just my career, but who I am." The media dubbed the trial the divorce that defined a generation. Podcasts dissected every detail. Legal experts applauded the court's handling of the emotional and financial intricacies. Mental health advocates praised the discussion around therapy, identity, and emotional neglect. But perhaps the most lasting impact was on the public's perception of fame. The glamorous veneer of celebrity life had been peeled back, exposing something raw and familiar. Two people trying and failing to navigate love under the weight